Hello everyone. In this topic of the Windows 11 course, we will see how to use the disk management feature, and also we will see how to format a new drive which has been connected to your laptop. It can be a USB drive or external storage like Seagate or Western Digital or even SanDisk thumb drive. To check if the drive has been detected, you can click on Start. You have to right click on the Start, then you will get an option Device Manager. You click on Device Manager. Once you click on Device Manager, you will see here under the disk drives, you will see there will be multiple drives. Depending upon how many drives you have been using on your laptop, all the drives will be listed here. Because I was using one single drive for my C drive, so this is my C drive, and this is the new drive which I have plugged. So this is my new drive. To format the new drive which has been detected, what I will do is I will go to disk management. Again, I will simply click on right click on the start, then click on disk management. Once you click on the disk management, if the new drive is uninitialized or it is not formatted or it is not being used, then it is going to ask you to initialize the disk. You can actually initialize the disk. There are two options here. One is format using GPT, or you can also use MBR. I will use MBR. You need to be extra cautious here. Whenever you bring any disk from your friends or family members which has the data, it will never ask to initialize the disk. It will automatically detect the file system and it will appear as one of the drive letter, right? And if you initialize the disk, if you format the disk, then the data will be lost. So you need to be very cautious whenever you are initializing the disk, and if you wanted to format the disk. You format the disk if it is a new disk. If you format a disk which has the data, all your data will be wiped out. You need to be very careful, very cautious. Once the data is lost, it is lost. You will not be able to recover. I will click on OK, and I have initialized the disk because I know this is a new disk. That is why I have initialized. Now, if I want to create a file system out of the disk, file system is the space where you will be able to store the files. So Windows uses NTFS as the file system to store its files and folders. So I will use file system. I will create a simple volume, and I'll create a simple volume with all the space which is available, which is 32 GB, and I will use the drive letter as E, and I will click on next. This is the NTFS. If you want to use FAT32, I will recommend to use the NTFS file system because FAT32 is a legacy file system which is not being used. And you select NTFS, use default. You can actually name the volume, and this one I will name as temp. I'll say temp USB, right? Okay, and I will use the quick format. Basically, it is going to perform the format very quickly. If I disable this, the format will take time. I wanted to perform the format very quickly. Also, you can use the file and folder compression if you wanted to enable this. I don't enable this. I will leave it disabled. And if I click on next, then finish, I will see the disk has been formatted with NTFS file system. It is available as an E drive here. If I go to the files and folders, this PC, you will see this is the new drive which we have formatted, which doesn't have any data, right? So once you format any drive, there will be no content at all. The entire data will be wiped out. Now the drive has been formatted. We will be able to simply copy the files and folders, whichever we wanted. So if I wanted to transfer any of the files, I can copy the files which I wanted to. If I wanted to take the backup, let us say all my files and folders which are there in the downloads, I wanted to take a backup and keep it as a separate. So I'll keep all these things in a new drive. So this way we can take the backup. Since this USB drive is a removable drive, I can unplug the USB drive and keep it as a separate, so that if my original content in the download folder is lost, I'll be able to simply recover from this drive. So I'll copy all the files and folders for backup. So these are the backup which I have taken. So this way we will be able to initialize the disk, format the disk. And let us say we have this particular drive, which is the temp USB thumb drive, which has the backup data. By mistake, if you have given this particular thumb drive and one of your friend or family member plugs onto their laptop and they initialize and they do the format, let us see what will happen if I format. I have formatted the drive. I have formatted the drive and I will open the my computer. So you don't see any data here. That is the reason you need to be very careful whenever you format the drive. So I'll go back to the download folder again and I will select all the files which I wanted to take the backup. So all these files I wanted to take the backup in the thumb drive. I will copy this and I will unplug the drive and keep it as a separate, so that if I lose the data, I can use this particular thumb drive and restore the data. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.